The church stood silent under the storm-filled sky, but inside, something was screaming. No one else heard it. Only Father Gabriel, breath shivering, hands shaking, could hear the sound rolling through the ancient stone walls, like nails being dragged across a coffin from the inside. He walked slowly down the corridor of St. Helena Convent, a place that once smelled of warm bread and morning prayers. Now it smelled like wet soil, like something freshly buried, like something trying to crawl out. The sisters said the darkness began after she arrived. A young nun, quiet, soft-spoken, barely 20, Sister Evelyn, found unconscious outside the main gate at 2:13 a.m., her hands frozen around a wooden rosary that didn't belong to her. Since the night she arrived, doors slammed on their own. The chapel candles bent sideways without wind, and every mirror in the convent cracked, at the same time. But the worst came at night. The whispers, the crying, and the voice that wasn't her own. Tonight, Father Gabriel was called for a single reason. The exorcism must begin. But as he approached the small, dimly lit prayer room where she was kept, he noticed something strange. The temperature dropped. Cold. Ice cold. Breath turning into white smoke. Then, a nun ran past him screaming, "Don't go in! Don't go in!" He grabbed her, tried to calm her, but she was shaking violently. "It's not her," she cried. "It's using her face, pretending, mocking us." Father Gabriel's heart hammered. He opened the door slowly. Inside, Sister Evelyn sat on the floor, back turned, head bowed. Her hands were tied with holy rope, blessed oil across her forehead. She wasn't moving, just breathing. Very slowly. Very wrong. "Child?" he whispered, stepping closer. Sister Evelyn's head twitched. Not turned. Not lifted. Just twitched. Like someone pulling a puppet string. Then, her voice came out. Except it wasn't hers. It was deeper. Crawling. Layered. Like many voices inside one. "You're late, Father." His blood froze. Because the girl's mouth never moved. The voice came from behind her. From the shadows in the corner. Father Gabriel lifted his crucifix. But Sister Evelyn suddenly snapped her neck backward at an impossible angle, her face upside down, staring at him with black, glassy eyes. "We've been waiting." The floorboards cracked. The candles flickered violently. A growling sound rose from the darkness behind her. And then, every nun in the convent screamed at once. Somewhere far down the hall, one of them was being dragged. The exorcism hadn't even begun. But the demon had already started. And it wasn't trapped in Sister Evelyn. It was spreading. This was no exorcism. This was a hunt. The storm outside struck again, thunder shaking the stained glass windows as Father Gabriel rushed through the convent. His robes were soaked from rain, his breathing shallow, his mind racing. He had performed exorcisms before, but nothing like this. Nothing that made the air itself feel alive. The convent hallways were long, narrow, and lined with old portraits of past sisters. Their painted eyes seemed to follow him, as if witnessing the horror creeping through the stone. Every few steps, another sound echoed. Something dragging, something scraping, something whispering in a voice just below human hearing. The sisters gathered in the chapel, trembling as they prayed. "All of this started when she came," whispered Sister Agnes, the eldest. Her rosary rattled in her hands. "That girl, she isn't just possessed. Something followed her. Something ancient." Father Gabriel tried to calm her. "Where was she found again?" "Outside the gate," Agnes replied, voice cracking. "On the night when no one is allowed outside. The devil's hour." He knew what she meant, between 2 and 3 a.m. The hour spirits cross easily. The hour exorcists fear the most. Her clothes were torn, Agnes continued. Her feet bruised like she'd been running for miles. And her rosary, she paused. It was black. Completely black. Gabriel stiffened. No rosary turns black on its own. Unless the demon had claimed her long before she ever reached the convent. He stepped inside the prayer room again. Sister Evelyn sat slumped against the wall. Her eyes were closed now. Her breathing steady, too steady. Like a thing pretending to breathe. He knelt beside her. "Evelyn, can you hear me?" Slowly her eyelids fluttered. Her eyeballs rolled up, showing only the whites. Then suddenly, she inhaled sharply, like waking from a nightmare. Father?" she whispered weakly. He leaned closer. "Yes, child. I'm here." Her lip trembled. Don't let it take me. Please. It shows me things. Terrible things." "What does it show you?" Her voice broke. "People dying, but not with knives. Not with fire. With shadows." The shadows climb into them. Like smoke. And then they smile. He felt something cold press against his skin. Her hand. She had grabbed his wrist without warning, holding too tight. Her eyes snapped open. Wide, black, unnatural. Like I will smile. She grinned. A horrifying, stretched smile. Every candle in the room blew out at once. Darkness swallowed them. Father Gabriel grabbed his holy water, splashing it blindly. A hiss tore through the darkness, followed by a deep growl. The lights returned, and Sister Evelyn was suddenly on the ceiling, clinging upside down, head tilted, staring at him. The others have opened the door, she whispered. He froze. What door? Her voice cracked into 100 whispers. The door that shouldn't be opened. Screaming erupted from the hallway. A nun ran past the door, dragged backward by something invisible. The floor vibrated. The demon wasn't trapped. It was moving. Father Gabriel lifted his crucifix, heart thundering. Evelyn, fight it. Fight. But she only laughed, staring down at him. You're trying to save the wrong girl, Father. The demon is not inside me. It's behind you. He spun around, and the screen cuts to black. The darkness behind Father Gabriel felt alive, like something breathing inches from his neck. His hands trembled as he held the crucifix tighter, his heartbeat echoing in the silent room. The candle flames flickered violently, each one bending toward the same corner behind him, as if pulled by an invisible force. He swallowed hard and slowly turned. At first, nothing. Just a dark corner where the light refused to reach. A shape shifted. Not walking. Not crawling. But sliding forward like smoke, wearing the shape of a person. Long fingers. Bent elbows. A head slightly tilted, as if broken. The air thickened. Breathing became painful. A whisper crawled through the room. You shouldn't have come, priest. Father Gabriel stepped back, dragging the crucifix across the air. Reveal yourself, demon, he shouted, forcing strength into his cracking voice. The shadow laughed, a low, echoing rumble that didn't fit inside the small room. Sister Evelyn, still clinging upside down on the ceiling, twisted her head toward the presence behind Gabriel. Her voice shook with fear, not possession. That is what followed me here. Her confession froze him. This was different. Possessions attached themselves inside the victim. But this thing wasn't inside Evelyn. It was using her. Like bait. The shadow lunged. Gabriel dropped to the floor, rolling aside as the thing struck the wall, leaving behind a black scorch mark that spread like burning paper. He scrambled to his feet and flung blessed water toward the creature. The droplets hissed when they touched the shadow, producing a scream that vibrated the entire room. The lights burst, glass raining onto the floor. Sister Evelyn fell from the ceiling, landing on all fours, spine bending unnaturally. She crawled toward him with inhuman speed. Help me, Father. It wants another body. It wants a stronger one. He stared at her, horrified. Was this the real her, or the demon manipulating him? A sudden crash echoed from the hall. Something heavy dragged across the floor. Then, a scream. Not one. Not two. 3 different voices screaming at once. Father Gabriel rushed out of the room. The hallway was chaos. One nun was being pulled by her feet, her nails scraping long bloody lines along the wooden floor. Another had her hands covering her ears, shaking violently as if hundreds of voices were screaming into her skull. A third nun was pinned against the wall by invisible force, her rosary burning into her skin. Stop! Gabriel yelled, throwing holy water toward the dragging nun. The pulling force released instantly. She gasped, scrambling into a corner, sobbing. The walls flickered, shadows moving independently from any light source. Some shadows stretched long, sharp, twisting like limbs. Others formed shapes that looked almost human. But nothing human moved like that. Sister Agnes stumbled toward him, her face pale, eyes filling with terror. It's spreading, she whispered. The demon isn't just here for Evelyn. It wants the convent. How? Gabriel demanded. Agnes pointed with a trembling finger toward a broken window. Because someone opened the forbidden cellar. Gabriel's blood turned cold. The forbidden cellar at St. Helena Convent was sealed centuries ago, rumored to imprison a relic so cursed that even touching its box could birth a demon. What was inside? Gabriel asked. Agnes shook her head. We never knew. The writing said it was something born from a nun who broke her vows in the darkest way. Something that should never be unsealed. He stared at the shifting shadows along the walls. Whatever it was loose now. A whisper drifted through the hall, gentle, almost mocking. She broke her vows, and I broke free. The candles lining the hallway flared, illuminating something etched onto the walls. Not scratches. Symbols. Ancient ones. Demonic sigils burned directly into the stone. Gabriel stepped back. These weren't here before. Agnes grabbed his arm. It's marking the place. Like a beast claiming territory. Screaming erupted again, this time from the prayer room they had just left. Gabriel and Agnes rushed back. They froze at the doorway. Sister Evelyn was levitating 2 feet off the floor, limbs hanging loose like a doll. Her eyes rolled back. Her voice was not hers, not human. The priest is next. He was chosen the moment he touched her hand. Gabriel's heart stopped. He remembered her grabbing his wrist earlier. How cold her skin felt. How unnatural the grip was. A black mark burned faintly on his wrist. Exactly where she had held him. Agnes gasped. Dear God, it has marked you. The shadow behind Evelyn stretched taller, wider. Its form sharpened, becoming clearer. 2 horns. Long arms. A face made of shifting darkness. It whipped its head toward Gabriel. Your body is stronger than hers. Your faith, more delicious to corrupt. You belong to me now. Gabriel stumbled back. No, no, I forbid you. Evelyn's body jerked violently. Then her mouth stretched open, wider than humanly possible, and she screamed with a voice that shook the room. You will exorcise me, priest? Or I will take you myself. The floorboards burst upward as shadow arms erupted, reaching for Gabriel's legs. Agnes screamed. The candles exploded. The crucifix flew from his hand. And the dark creature lunged. Father Gabriel crashed backward as the shadow creature lunged, its long smoke-filled arms spreading like wings made of darkness. The floor beneath him splintered from the force, dust flying into the air. Sister Agnes grabbed him, pulling him away just in time as the shadow's claws scraped across the wooden floor, leaving burning black grooves that hissed like hot metal dropped in water. The temperature dropped so sharply Gabriel could see his breath. The demon's voice rumbled through the prayer room. Not echoing from walls, but vibrating inside their bones. I waited centuries for a vessel like you, priest. You carry faith in your blood. Your suffering will feed me well. Gabriel tried to crawl backward, but shadow arms burst from the cracked floor, grabbing his ankles. Cold, heavy, alive. He screamed as they pulled him toward the dark altar forming beneath Sister Evelyn's levitating body. Agnes shouted, "Let him go," and threw blessed oil at the shadows. The oil sizzled on contact, smoke rising from the demon's form. The creature snarled and recoiled. In that split second, Gabriel ripped his legs free and stumbled behind a pew, gasping for breath. His crucifix was still on the ground, burning, the silver metal turning black. The demon stepped forward. Not floating, not crawling, walking. It had shape now, almost human, almost nun-like, a twisted mockery of the blessed order. Sister Evelyn, possessed, slowly lowered from the air and collapsed to her knees, trembling like a puppet whose strings were being cut. She lifted her head with effort, eyes fluttering. "Father," she whispered weakly. "It shows me visions. On the altar. Bound. Screaming." Gabriel felt ice crawl up his spine. Agnes held his arm. "We must leave this room. Now." They rushed into the hall, but the moment they stepped out, the lights flickered violently. A wave of cold air blasted through the corridor, forcing the torches to curve sideways as if pushed by hurricane wind. The shadow was growing stronger. Screams echoed from the upper floor, high-pitched, terrified. A door slammed. Something dragged loudly. Agnes whispered, "Dear God, it's going after the sisters." Without hesitating, Gabriel sprinted toward the staircase. The upper hallway was a nightmare. Shadows clung to the walls like living ink. Pictures of saints had their faces twisted backward. Every door was trembling as if someone inside was pounding frantically. And then, a nun stumbled out of her room, gasping for air. Her face pale. Her voice shaking. "It's in the mirrors, it's in the mirrors." Before Gabriel could reach her, a black hand shot out of the mirror behind her, grabbed her face, and yanked her inside with a violent snap. Glass shattered. She was gone. Gabriel froze. Agnes gasped in horror, covering her mouth. A deep, guttural laugh echoed from every mirror in the hallway. "I don't need doors. Your reflections are enough." Gabriel's breathing quickened. He pushed the nearest mirror down, shattering it with force. But breaking one only made the shadows ripple in the others. Agnes whispered, "What kind of demon is this?" He knew. And that terrified him. There was an ancient exorcist tale passed down only in holy archives. A demon who didn't possess bodies, but attached itself to broken faith, spreading like a plague. A demon born from a nun's shattered vow. One whose name was forbidden to speak. But Gabriel said it anyway, voice trembling. Marvexia. Agnes staggered. No, that's impossible. She was sealed centuries ago. The forbidden cellar, Gabriel said. Someone broke the seal. The floorboards under them vibrated. The walls moaned. The mirrors began to bulge as if faces were pressing from the other side. And then, Sister Evelyn appeared at the far end of the hallway, walking slowly, staggering, like something was holding her upright. Her eyes were black again. You speak her name so easily, Father. It means you are ready. Ready for what? Gabriel's heart hammered. Suddenly Evelyn stopped walking. Her head twisted unnaturally toward the mirror beside her. Her reflection didn't match her movements, it stared directly at Gabriel. And then the reflection smiled. A wide, deliberate smile. Gabriel shoved Agnes behind him. He grabbed the remaining holy water and the jar of blessed salt from his robe. Stay behind me. And don't look at their reflections, he said firmly. But before they could move, Evelyn's body jerked violently. Her voice doubled, two tones layered together. She doesn't want Evelyn anymore. She wants you. The hallway lights burst one by one, plunging them into darkness. Only the mirrors glowed faintly now, each showing Gabriel's reflection. Except, they weren't him. Not exactly. Every reflection showed him possessed. Eyes black. Mouth split open. Skin cracked. Agnes gasped. It's showing you your fate. Gabriel took a step back, but the mirror figures stepped forward, pressing their palms against the glass. Crack, crack, crack. All the mirrors shattered at once. And from the broken glass, multiple shadow arms shot out, grabbing Gabriel's wrists, ankles, neck. He screamed, knees buckling. Gabriel. Agnes cried. He felt himself being pulled inside the mirror world. Cold, empty, endless. The demon whispered inside his head. Your exorcism starts now, inside me. His vision blurred. His body sank into the darkness. But right before he disappeared completely, a hand grabbed his shoulder from behind, yanking him back into the real world. He gasped, choking on air, landing on the floor. He looked up. The person who saved him was not Agnes. Not Evelyn. It was someone he hadn't seen in years. Someone who should be dead. A nun wearing a torn, ancient habit. Her face pale, her eyes hollow. She whispered, Father, she never died. The first nun who birthed this demon. She has returned. Father Gabriel stared at the woman holding him, stunned, shaken, terrified. Her robes were old, centuries old. Torn, faded, stained with dirt like she had clawed her way out of a grave. Her skin was white like candle wax. Her eyes hollow, glassy as if life had left them long ago. But she stood upright, breathing, alive. Or something pretending to be. Agnes stepped back, trembling. That's impossible. She died hundreds of years ago. The archive said she hanged herself after birthing the demon. The woman's lips cracked open. Death doesn't stay where demons walk. Father Gabriel recognized her name from forbidden records. Sister Marin. The nun whose sin had birthed Marvexia. The one who had been banished from every holy text. How are you here? Gabriel asked, voice unsteady. Her eyes drifted toward the shattered mirrors, toward the shadows slithering across the hallway walls. I was not allowed to leave, she whispered. The curse tied me to this place. My body decayed, but my soul stayed trapped. Waiting, watching, suffering. Her voice trembled, filled with centuries of torment. I waited for the day someone would break the seal. She looked directly at Gabriel. And now it is loose. Suddenly the hallway lights flickered violently. The temperature plunged again, breath turning into frost. A hiss echoed behind them. Sister Evelyn stood at the far end of the hall, but not alone. Her shadow was no longer a shadow. It was taller, thicker, forming horns and arms, growing out of her like a monstrous parasite. Her legs twitched as if controlled by threads. Her jaw trembled with a desperate attempt to regain control. Father, run, she whispered. But Marvexia twisted her head backward again, smiling upside down. Not yet. He hasn't heard the truth. Sister Marin stepped in front of Gabriel. You cannot speak to him. You have no right. Marvexia laughed, a deep, bone-cracking sound. Oh, but he deserves to know. He deserves to know why he was chosen. Gabriel stiffened. What? I was chosen? The demon emerged forward, forcing Evelyn's body to move like a broken marionette. Because you, Father Gabriel, are her blood. Gabriel froze. Agnes gasped. Sister Marin bowed her head in shame. What are you talking about? Gabriel stuttered. Marvexia leaned forward, black liquid dripping from Evelyn's lips. Your ancestor is her. She pointed a twisted finger at Sister Marin. The nun who birthed me. The sinner. The cursed one. Your bloodline carries her sin. Gabriel felt the world tilt. No, that's not possible. Sister Marin's voice cracked. I prayed the truth would die with me, that my blood would never rise again. But fate has a cruel hand, Gabriel. She reached out, touching his cheek gently. You are my great-grandson. Gabriel stepped back, shaking uncontrollably. No, this can't be. This can't. Marvexia shrieked with laughter, so loud the walls cracked. That is why the demon wants you. Because the vessel must be blood of the sinner. Only your body can contain me fully. Sister Agnes grabbed Gabriel's arm. We have to leave. Right now. But the hallway darkened. Shadows stretching like black vines crawling along the ceiling and walls, weaving together to block every exit. Dozens of whispering voices crawled through the air. Stay, stay, stay. Then the lights died completely. Pitch black. For a moment only the sound of breathing. Then, footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Dragging. A flame burst from the far end of the hall. A candle held by a nun no one recognized. She walked slowly, her face hidden behind her veil. Agnes whispered, Who is she? Sister Marin stepped back, horrified. Not her. Not her. The unknown nun lifted her face. And Sister Agnes screamed. Her skin was cracked like broken clay. Her eyes were hollow pits. Her mouth stitched shut with black thread. This was not a living nun. This was a corpse. A corpse walking. The candle in her hand flared high, lighting up the dozens of nuns behind her. All dead. All silent. All standing. All staring. A wave of cold terror washed over Gabriel. These are the sisters who died in the convent fire, Agnes whispered. But that was 200 years ago. Marvexia spoke through Evelyn, stepping between the corpses. I resurrect those who were mine. They serve me even in death. The dead nuns raised their heads in unison. Their necks cracked. Their sewn mouths widened. Some even tore open with the force, black liquid oozing. Sister Marin pushed Gabriel behind her. Run. Now. The hallway trembled. The dead nuns took one synchronized step forward. Thud. Gabriel turned. But the mirror behind him lit up suddenly, showing a reflection of him already possessed, eyes black, shadow hands gripping his throat. A whisper came from the glass. Come inside, Gabriel. You belong to me. Shadow arms burst from the mirror again, wrapping around his wrists. Sister Marin grabbed him. No. You will not take him. But the mirror rippled like water, pulling Gabriel's reflection, and with it trying to pull Gabriel himself. The dead nuns lunged. Sister Agnes screamed. Sister Evelyn collapsed as Marvexia stepped out of her body, forming a full dark shape. And then, the mirror shattered. And Gabriel fell backward into a darkness that wasn't real, wasn't physical. A void where the demon lived. He heard Marvexia's voice whisper. Welcome home, Gabriel. You were born for me. Father Gabriel hit the ground hard, but it wasn't stone. It felt like sinking into cold water, except he didn't get wet. It was dense, dark, suffocating. He gasped for air, clawing at the void around him, but there was no direction, no gravity, no sound. Only blackness. And a faint whisper. You've finally come home, Gabriel? His eyes adjusted slowly. The darkness around him began to ripple, forming lines, shapes, outlines. A floor made of shattered glass. Walls stretching infinitely, each made of mirrors. But none of them reflected him. They reflected versions of him. Possessed. Dying. Screaming. Burning. Hanging. Twisted into shapes no human body should form. Gabriel stumbled back, trembling. His heartbeat hammered inside his skull. No, this isn't real. This is an illusion. A soft, echoing laugh surrounded him. Everything here is real. Everything here has already happened. Or will happen. A mirror directly in front of him flickered. His reflection appeared. Except its eyes were black. Its smile stretched unnaturally. Its skin cracked like dried clay. It stepped out of the mirror. Not climbed. Not crawled. Stepped out. Like crossing a doorway. Gabriel froze as the reflection approached slowly, tilting its head. I'm you, it whispered. But soon you'll be me. Gabriel ran. The floor cracked like thin ice beneath him, sharp shards rising like teeth. His heartbeat pounded as he sprinted through the endless corridor of mirrors. Every mirror he passed showed a worse version of himself. One vomiting black liquid. One praying as a shadow strangled him. One tied to an altar, screaming as a demonic nun chanted over him. One already dead. The whispers grew louder. Join us, join us, join us. Gabriel fell to his knees, covering his ears, but the voices were inside his head. He shut his eyes tightly, praying loudly. Our Father who art in. A hand grabbed his face. Cold. What? Rotting. He opened his eyes. A nun's corpse towered over him, eyes hollow, mouth torn open wide. It shrieked, black saliva dripping onto his cheek. Gabriel shoved it back, stumbling away. Dozens more crawled out of nearby mirrors, moving like broken puppets. Their bones cracked with every step. Their fingers extended into impossibly long claws. And behind them, a shape began to rise. Large, tall, growing bigger with every breath. Marvexia. In her true form. Her body was made of pure shadow. Horns twisting upward like branches. A ribcage visible beneath black smoke. Eyes burning white-hot. Her voice was layered, like hundreds of women crying and raging at once. She didn't walk. She floated, the mirrors cracking under her presence. Your blood calls to me, Gabriel. Your ancestor created me. You will complete the circle. Gabriel stumbled back, gripping his crucifix with shaking hands, except it wasn't silver anymore. It was blackened, burnt, misshapen, useless. A surge of shadows lifted him into the air, pinning him against a wall of mirrors. They wrapped around his neck, his wrists, his legs, squeezing, slowly crushing him. Marvexia floated close. Her face leaned inches from his. A demon cannot take just any priest. We need one marked by sin. One carrying forbidden blood. Gabriel's voice cracked. Get away from me. Marvexia smirked. Oh, but you don't know the full truth. Your blood is not the only reason. Your soul is cracked. Your faith, broken. Your heart, guilty. Gabriel gasped. I am not guilty, I have served God all my lies. The mirrors around him flashed. Scenes played out. Scenes he never shared with anyone. A woman. A forbidden love. A vow almost broken. A night of weakness he prayed no one would ever know. Agnes didn't know. The church didn't know. No one knew. But the demon did. The mirrors replayed it mercilessly. The moment Gabriel kissed the woman he loved before becoming a priest. The night he begged God to forgive his weakness. The guilt that lived in him for years. Marvexia whispered. You are just like your ancestor. Weak. Tempted. Cracked. Perfect for me. Gabriel screamed in horror and shame. No. I will never serve you. Marvexia grinned. Her shadow claws pressed into his chest. You don't have to serve willingly. Your body will serve. With a violent force, she shoved Gabriel deeper into the mirror, his torso disappearing inside the glass like sinking into ice water. He screamed as the glass burned his skin. Stop. Let me go. Marvexia placed a shadow hand on his face. You will take my mark. And when you wake in the real world, you will not remember any of this. But I will be inside you. Growing. Gabriel felt something crawl into his veins, cold, sharp, alive. He convulsed. His vision blurred. His heartbeat slowed. No, no, please. Suddenly, a hand shattered the mirror from the other side. Glass exploded outward. Someone pulled him out, grabbing his wrist with incredible force. He fell onto the convent floor, gasping for breath. Agnes was crying. Father. Father. Gabriel trembled, coughing violently. But Sister Marin was staring at him in horror. Gabriel, she whispered. Your eyes. Agnes stepped back. Gabriel looked around, confused. What? What's wrong? Sister Marin cried. Your eyes, they're turning black. Gabriel froze. The demon didn't stay in the mirror. It entered him. Father Gabriel blinked rapidly, trying to steady his breath. His body felt heavier, like something was sitting inside his chest. His heartbeat thumped irregularly, skipping beats, then pounding too fast. Sweat dripped down his forehead even though the air around him was freezing. Sister Agnes stepped back, trembling. Sister Marin lowered her head in sorrow. Gabriel, Marin whispered, voice cracking. Your eyes, they're darkening. Gabriel wiped his face, confused. No, it's just the shadows. But when he leaned toward a broken piece of mirror on the floor, he froze. His reflection wasn't fully himself. His irises had turned black around the edges, slowly spreading inward like ink dropped in water. He stumbled backward. No. And oh, she's inside me. A deep pulse struck inside his head. He screamed, gripping his temples. A voice whispered from within. We are one now, Gabriel. Your heart is mine. Sister Agnes tried to touch him, but he recoiled, shivering. Don't. If she's inside me, she can spread to you. But Agnes shook her head firmly. We won't abandon you. Before Gabriel could warn them again, the entire convent shuddered violently. Boom. Dust fell from the ceiling. Candles blew out simultaneously. The walls groaned like they were alive and in pain. A deafening, inhuman roar echoed through the halls. Sister Marin grabbed Gabriel's arm. The demon is no longer tied to Evelyn's body. She has taken full form. She will destroy this place. A second, stronger tremor hit the convent. Crack. A massive fissure split down the stone walls, stretching from floor to ceiling like a jagged wound. The lights flickered, then burned bright red. Shadows crawled up from the floor, swirling like black smoke trying to form bodies. Agnes screamed, pointing. The dead nuns, they're rising again. From the far corridor, the corpses of the ancient nuns, those resurrected by Marvexia, started marching forward. Their bones cracked, their heads tilted, their mouths open in silent screams. But this time, they weren't walking alone. Shadows walked beside them. Dark silhouettes with glowing white eyes. Long arms. Claws scraping the walls. Forms flickering like flame. Sister Marin shouted, "Get behind me." She raised her hand. And markings lit up across her skin, glowing gold. Gabriel stared in shock. What is that? She didn't look at him. A curse the convent placed on me centuries ago, meant to keep me imprisoned between realms. It also gives me one final power. She slammed her hand to the ground. A ring of golden light exploded outward. The dead nuns shrieked and dissolved into ash. The shadow creatures recoiled, screeching in pain. But the victory was brief. Another roar echoed, closer this time. The ceiling cracked. Dust fell. Tiles shattered. A heavy chandelier smashed onto the floor. Agnes screamed and pulled Gabriel aside. Sister Marin looked up, trembling. She's coming. And then, the demon appeared. Not just a shadow. A towering, corrupted, monstrous figure forcing itself through the stone ceiling as if the world couldn't contain it. Marvexia. Her horns scraped the ceiling. Her arms stretched like tendrils. Her ribcage pulsed with darkness. Her eyes glowed white, bright enough to blind. But her face was the worst. It was partially the face of Sister Evelyn. Twisted, stretched, and fused with the face of the ancient nun who birthed her. Multiple layers of faces weaved into one. Marvexia hovered above the destroyed hallway, her voice echoing like thunder. He is mine. The blood of the sinner belongs to me. Give him to me, or die with him. Gabriel fell to his knees, gripping his chest. Inside him, something pulsed, dark energy flooding his veins. His vision blurred. He saw flashes of the mirror world. Flashes of Marvexia's realm. Flashes of himself. Standing beside her. Sister Marin rushed forward. Fight it, Gabriel. Fight. But his voice changed, deepening, layered. I can't. His shadow stretched unnaturally behind him, longer, sharper, forming horns. Marvexia grinned. Look at him. The priest is already turning. His soul tastes of guilt and fear. Such a perfect vessel. Gabriel clutched his head, screaming. Agnes rushed toward him, but Marin stopped her. No. If you touch him now, she'll enter you too. Another tremor ripped through the convent. The floor began collapsing. Chunks falling into a dark pit beneath. Shadows crawled up like living smoke, snapping like jaws. Agnes backed away in terror. The whole convent, it's sinking. Marvexia descended, hovering inches above the ground. It all began with sin. And tonight, sin will finish what it started. She extended a massive shadow hand toward Gabriel. His body lifted into the air, helpless. His eyes rolled back. Black veins spread across his face. His fingers twisted involuntarily. His voice, no longer his, spoke. Let me in. Agnes cried out, and oh, Father, please. But the darkest moment came next. Sister Marin looked at Gabriel with tears. Gabriel, listen to me. He couldn't. The demon had nearly full control. Her voice cracked. You must know the last truth, before she takes you. Gabriel's body trembled violently as black smoke poured from his mouth. Marvexia growled, silence. But Marin spoke faster. Gabriel, you are not just my descendant. You are the one she was created for. She wasn't born from my sin. She was born with a prophecy. A demon destined to claim a priest of her own bloodline. You were the purpose of her creation. Gabriel's scream echoed through the collapsing convent, as the demon's face twisted into a monstrous smile. The convent groaned like it was being ripped apart from the inside. Walls cracked open, floorboards split, and ancient stones shifted violently as if a giant force was twisting the entire building. Dust rained down like snow. Father Gabriel hung in the air. Helpless, convulsing, the demon's black smoke pouring into his veins. His feet dangled above the collapsing floor. His eyes rolled back. His voice was no longer his own. Sister Agnes sobbed, "He's dying, Gabriel is dying." But Sister Maren shook her head. "No, he is transforming." Agnes looked at her in horror. "We have to save him." Maren's face hollowed with pain. "Child, we may already be too late." Marvexia's monstrous form lowered closer. Her horned silhouette blotted out the flickering lights. Her voice thickened, dripping with triumph. "He is the vessel. My vessel. Finally, after centuries." Her shadow tendrils wrapped around Gabriel's throat, weaving like serpents through his hair, into his mouth, into his eyes. Gabriel screamed. A scream that sounded more demonic than human. Suddenly, boom. Part of the ceiling crashed down behind them. A dead nun's body tumbled out, twisted, rotted, and crawling without limbs like a spider. It hissed, dragging itself toward Agnes. Agnes shrieked, stumbling backward. Sister Maren stepped in front of her, slamming her palm onto the ground again. A blast of golden energy erupted, disintegrating the corpse in seconds. But the blast weakened her. Her glowing sigils dimmed. Maren staggered, clutching her chest. I cannot hold the curse back much longer." Marvexia's head snapped toward her, eyes blazing. "You cannot stop destiny, Maren. You birthed me for this." Maren's face contorted. "I never wanted this. I was tricked. You were spawned from a lie." Marvexia laughed. A deep, echoing rumble that shook the entire building. "And yet, your blood made the perfect priest for me. Gabriel exists because of you." Gabriel's body jerked violently. His arms twisted backward. His back arched until his spine cracked. Agnes screamed, covering her mouth. Gabriel's bottom lip split open as black veins spread across his face. His voice deepened into a growl that didn't belong to any living creature. "Help me." Agnes reached for him, crying. "Father, please hold on." Marvexia snapped. "Touch him, and you will be the next vessel." Agnes froze, trembling uncontrollably. Then, Gabriel stopped screaming. Stopped shaking. Stopped breathing. His body went still. Eyes half open but empty. Agnes collapsed to her knees, sobbing. "No. No, no, no." She crawled to his side, shaking his arm. "Father, wake up. Wake up." But he didn't move. Not a breath. Not a blink. Nothing. Sister Maren stepped forward, her own eyes filling with tears. "Agnes, he's gone." Marvexia lifted her arms, shadows swirling wildly around her. "He is not gone. He is mine. Watch, as he rises." Gabriel's corpse jerked. Once. Twice. Like a puppet being yanked by invisible strings. Agnes screamed, crawling away. "No, stay away." Gabriel's torso lifted upright. Head snapping to the side. Veins glowing black under his skin. His mouth opened slowly. A voice emerged. Not Gabriel's. Not Marvexia's. Something in between. "I am here." Agnes fainted from the shock. Sister Maren stared in silent horror. "Dear God, we've lost him." But Marvexia wasn't done. She floated in front of Gabriel, placing a shadowed hand on his forehead. "Rise, my child. Rise, my priest. Rise, as the bridge between the living and damned." Gabriel's spine cracked louder. His shoulders twisted. Black smoke poured out of his chest. And his eyes shot open. Completely black. But the true horror was this. Half of his face still looked like Gabriel. Human, warm, alive. The other half. Darkened, hardened, forming the beginnings of horns. He was becoming a hybrid. Half priest. Half demon. A perfect vessel. Maren stumbled backward. "No, no, 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 this cannot happen." Marvexia grinned, shadows pulsing. "You think I would destroy the convent? I need it. This place is the birthplace of my resurrection. Tonight, the world beyond these walls will open." The floor split open violently. Crack. A chasm formed under them, glowing with red, hellish light. Dozens of shadow creatures climbed out. Howling, screeching, dragging their deformed bodies upward. The convent bells began ringing violently on their own, though no one touched them. Then the ancient truth struck. Sister Marin looked at the rising demons, the collapsing walls, the pulsing red light, and she understood. Her voice trembled. Gabriel isn't just the vessel. He is the key. When he completes his transformation, the gateway will open permanently. Marvexia lifted Gabriel's head like a trophy. The age of exorcists is over. The age of shadows begins with him. Gabriel's black eyes flickered. He looked directly at Sister Marin. Grandmother, don't fight this. Join us. Marin's breath hitched. Gabriel recognized her. The human part of him was still conscious, still trapped, still suffering. But the demon inside him was taking over. The convent shook so violently it felt like the earth beneath it was tearing apart. Red light poured through the cracks in the floor, glowing like molten lava. Shadows crawled out of the chasm, limbs bending the wrong way, jaws stretching open, whispering in dozens of overlapping voices. Father Gabriel hovered above the growing pit. Half human, half demon, his veins black as ink, his eyes bottomless voids. Sister Agnes lay unconscious. Sister Marin struggled to stay standing, her body flickering between life and curse. Marvexia spread her wings of smoke and bone, towering over them all. The gateway opens. The priest has awakened. My kingdom rises. Father Gabriel extended his arm. His fingers elongated, sharp and dark, dripping shadow. Grandmother, come to me. I can feel your blood calling. Sister Marin's eyes filled with horror and heartbreak. Gabriel, listen to me. You must fight her. His blackened face twisted with pain. The human part of him fought, jaw clenched, chest tightening. But the demon sighed, smiled. You made me. You created the prophecy. You brought me here. She staggered back, shaking her head. No. I tried to stop you from ever being born. The ground beneath her cracked open, nearly swallowing her. Marvexia hissed, don't deny your sin, Marin. You lay with a demon once and I was born. Your bloodline exists for me. Gabriel is the final piece. Shadow tendrils reached for Gabriel, merging with his skin, twisting into him like roots. Marin screamed, Gabriel, fight. Please. Gabriel clasped his head in agony. Voices clashed in his mind. His own voice begging for mercy. Marvexia's voice promising power. And something deeper, ancient, calling his name. Then, a thunderous crash. The convent's massive stone cross fell from the roof, smashing into the ground between Gabriel and Marin. Light burst from the impact. Holy, blinding, golden. The shadows recoiled with shrieks. Marvexia shielded her face, roaring in fury. Sister Marin stared at the broken cross, and understood something. She whispered, of course. The curse they placed on me, it was never meant to punish me. It was meant to capture her. She placed her glowing hand over her heart. Her cursed sigils burned bright gold, brighter than they ever had. Agnes began to regain consciousness, eyes widening at the blinding light. Marin, what are you doing? Marin turned to Agnes, tears streaming down her ghostly face. I'm ending what I started. She looked at Gabriel, half demon, half grandson, and her voice broke. Gabriel, forgive me. He struggled to speak, the demon inside him furious. No, stay away. But Marin stepped forward, raising her arms, golden flames spreading across her decayed skin. Marvexia roared, stop her. She knows the truth. Shadow creatures lunged toward Marin. But the golden flames vaporized them instantly. Agnes crawled to the wall, shielding her eyes as Marin rose into the air. Her curse ignited. Golden chains of light burst from her chest, wrapping around her arms, legs, and neck. The final seal. Marvexia shrieked, slamming her claws into the ground. No. You cannot bind me again. Not after centuries. Marin pointed straight at Gabriel. Gabriel, the demon inside you, is tied to me. If I return to the void, I drag her with me. Gabriel's human side screamed, Grandmother, don't. But his demonic side roared in rage, shadow tendrils flaring outward. Marvexia lunged toward Marin. I will kill you again. And again. And again. Marin closed her eyes. I accept that. Then, with a voice filled with centuries of agony and love, she said the ancient sealing words. In nomine Lucas. I bind my blood to the void. The floor beneath her shuddered. The golden chains shot into the chasm, pulling the pit open wider. The gateway collapsed inward, becoming a vortex of swirling black and gold. Marvexia was sucked backward, screaming in fury. No, No. Shadows tore off her body like ashes in the wind. Gabriel convulsed violently as the demon inside him was ripped away. He coughed out black smoke falling to the ground. "Marin, stop," he cried weakly, reaching for her. But she only smiled. For the first time in centuries. "My grandson, live free." Her body dissolved into golden dust. The vortex closed. Marvexia was gone. The shadows vanished. The pit sealed itself shut. The convent fell silent. Gabriel collapsed to the floor, trembling, gasping for air. His eyes slowly turned human again. But the pain remained etched into his bones. Agnes crawled to him, crying, holding his face. "Father, you're free. You're free." But he wasn't smiling. His expression froze. "Agnes," he whispered. "Yes." His voice cracked. "She didn't take all of it." Agnes froze. "What do you mean?" Gabriel lifted his eyes. One was brown again. The other, still completely black. A faint whisper crawled into the room. "I'm not gone, Gabriel. We are one." Gabriel's breath hitched. Marvexia's last fragment was inside him. The convent began collapsing behind them. Agnes pulled him up. "We have to run, now." They fled through the dying building as the walls caved in, stones falling, floors crumbling. Just before Gabriel stepped outside, he heard one last whisper. "When you sleep, I will wake." The convent collapsed behind him. The demon was not defeated. She had found her vessel. Forever.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Leave us a comment for more stories like this. Your support means the world. Stay tuned for more videos.